Hello and welcome back, everybody, to True Remembrance. So, we were in the Cafe of Rook last episode, and in the next day we will get a new guest. I'm still not okay with the word. It sounds creepy, like something out of mind washing. You know what I mean? You're just a guest here. Now look at the coin. Look at the coin. There is no wall in between these walls. I don't know. You know what I mean. It's creepy. It's creepy. I don't like the word guest. But yeah, this may be the last day. I don't know. We'll see. It's not supposed to be a long visual novel, so I guess it's possible. On the other hand, that would be really short. We'll see. Another day passed. One thing had become painfully apparent now. La was obviously to the ways of the world. It was tempting to chalk it up to her being a stuck-up, spoiled little princess, but she wasn't stuck-up, she wasn't spoiled, and she didn't put on airs like a princess. Generally, the guide is supposed to take care of all the housework. La, however, was actively helping out in any way she could. She couldn't keep her hands to herself if she tried. And she wasn't trying anyhow. The weird thing was, it wasn't because she felt sorry about making me do all the work. The way her eyes glistened, the way she skipped and hopped about, it was obvious that she was having the time of her life. There were some ways in which this came as a relief. I had not, for instance, been looking forward to the prospect of doing a girl's laundry. Well, kinda see why. So obviously I was more than happy to let La take care of it. In this picture now she looks older. Maybe she ages every day a year. I really want to know how old she is. Well, anyway. Well, that is, other than the fact that she had no idea how to operate a washing machine. Well, that's not so good then. I can remember clearly how she stared at it the first time, tried to figure out for herself. After a long time indeed, she came running to me, defeated. When I told her which buttons to press, her eyes lit up, and off she went. Trial, error. A trial again. Success. Such were the patterns of the day. Well, that's good. I mean, that's nothing bad now, isn't it? Now it was around time for the other guest to arrive. Hey, didn't he say the day after tomorrow? I thought, okay, my bad. I thought he said the day after tomorrow, not the next day. Now it was around time for this other guest to arrive. I hadn't been able to take La out anywhere yesterday, just in case Rook might need to get a hold of me. Okay, it is the day after tomorrow. I'd probably be stuck here today too. After all, if I really only had one day with this guest, finding and obliterating his psyche corrosion was going to be priority number one. Now I'd expected that La would be bored out of her mind, but she never had a word of displeasure for me. In fact, she seemed to be enjoying herself, judging from the spring in her step and the twinkle in her eye. Every so often, though, she would come to me with loneliness and loss written all over her face, and she would stay by my side in silence for hours. If it were not for those times, it would have been almost impossible to believe that she was afflicted with a dolor at all. Maybe she's just normally depressed, you know? Maybe that is all that is to this riddle here. Maybe the dolor is like an infection and not like normal depression. And maybe La is just normal depressed, you know? Like normal in quote unquote normal depressed. If there is a normal depressed, you know. But that would make kind of sense. I mean, even depressive people are not like down all day. Or not necessarily, at least. They're ups and downs, you know. I heard someone knocking on our doors as I was cleaning up after breakfast. I immediately abandoned my dishwashing and rushed to answer. But by the time I rounded the corner to the foyer, he'd already started knocking again. It's a little boy. When I opened the door, I was surprised to be greeted by a face that was much lower to the ground than I had expected. I was referred. I have an appointment with Dr. Black Iris, the memory site. Is he here? He happens to be me. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It's just that you're a lot younger than I thought you'd be. A lot younger, eh? That was my line. Rook, man, you're killing me. You didn't tell me you were starting a babysitting service. I mean, he was younger than La, even. A lot younger. When Rook had told me that this client was well connected, I had assumed that he was talking about a governmental official or a captain of industry. Not this. My name is Marcello, or Marcello, I'm not sure. Let's go with Marcello. Nice to meet you, sir. The pleasure is mine. Please come on in then, Marcello. You may call me Mar, if you please. Mar, okay, we'll stick with that. If you please, huh? Well dressed, and with a hearty manner of speech to boot. So, I was definitely dealing with a rich kid then. Great. When Ma stepped into the living room, La almost stabbed the plate she had been washing and stared. Not surprising, she would probably... no, she had been... Yeah, you see, she apostrophe D. That always confuses me. She had probably been expecting someone a lot older and taller. After an uncomfortable moment, she whipped back to her dishes, squeezing her sponge so hard that suds frothed out onto the sink. Her surprise, however, was dwarfed by that of our new arrival. Sorry. He suddenly and inexplicably bowed his head in apology. Now I had no clue what was going on anymore. And seeing as he was flushing beet red, I didn't want to know what was going on inside his head right now either. So I sighed and hastened to explain the situation, but... Mar, this is La... Oh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea your, lady friend was here. Give me a moment. I'll leave right away. Is this whole game a joke that they're a couple? Not funny. Not funny at all. Mar didn't even let me finish my sentence. At the very moment that he finished his sentence, though, La's fingers chose to go completely nerveless. The unfortunate thing was that she kind of had a plate in them at the time. There was a crash and much tinkling, while porcelain shards spread all over the kitchen floor. And now we had not just one, but two young people blushing so furiously that they might as well have been on the surface of the sun. I just wanted to bury my head in my hands and be done with the day. La happens to be my guest. Just like you. Huh? Oh, I see. Right. I had no idea. Well, hopefully you have one now. Mar sank down onto a chair, as if his last words had drained all the strength of him. Oh, La, be careful not to cut there. Want some help? No, thanks. I'll be fine. That didn't make me worry any less about her. But now that she had said she would be fine, there wasn't much I could do. So instead, I turned to Ma and began anew. As you already know, I am Black Iris, a memory site. I will be your guide for a short time. Should you wish to call me by any other name, go ahead and do so. I won't mind. I wonder what that is about. What is he supposed to say, Daddy? Thank you, sir. Glad to be in capable hands. Well, we'll see about that. Now, won't you tell me a little bit about your psyche corrosion? Or corrosion, sorry. How did it start? Do you remember? Up until this point in the treatment, what I had said to La and Mar had not differed substantially. But La was a severe case, necessitating a long internment here. In her case, my only course of action was to chip away at her psychic corrosion slowly, over weeks and months. I had no choice. How could I, when my guest was clearly numb to the depths of her own sorrow? I wonder how that works with this little guy now. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Why am I wondering? We'll see now. In comparison, Master Law was only mild. Guests in his situation usually knew exactly what their psychic corrosion was coming from and could point me toward the source with relative ease. Then I could move in with surgical precision and cut the memories out cleanly. Quick and simple. How do you do that? With an actual surgery? Or do you take hocus pocus magic? Did I not read that in the beginning? Huh. I'm pretty unsure that was not explained. Was it? Maybe I totally overread that or something. Or I just forgot. Mar shot me a confused look and then spoke hesitantly. Psychic corrosion? No, actually I just want you to erase every last memory I have. He was joking, right? If he was, that was pretty funny. But the way he was looking at me, it was quite obvious that this was no joke at all. I felt, rather than saw, La poking her head out of the kitchen. Obviously, she had overheard everything. Obviously, she was quite intrigued by this turn of events. It wasn't entirely obvious whether or not she had finished cleaning up the broken porcelain. So, you want me to erase what? 10 or 11 years of memory all at once? Is that it? 15, if you please. He's 15? I mean, height-wise. He and La are on the same level, but he kinda looks like 5. My apologies, then. I'm afraid that is... impossible? Even for you, Dr. Black Iris, the Class Alpha memory site? I had heard that alphas were incredibly powerful. Are you trying to tell me that even you have your limits? Pardon my asking, but are you even an alpha at all? He was really fixated on this alpha thing, wasn't he? Or was he just trying to provoke me? Trying to provoke me into action by slandering my abilities as a memory site? Probably. Good thing you have no pride for your job. The one time that is actually good in this game. If he was making a big mistake. I had no such pride in my profession, you see. But then again, I do not recall ever having used the word impossible. I answered honestly. But this did not seem to make Mar particularly happy. I could hear him muttering, "So you can do it," with an almost dispirited air. I searched his face for a long time indeed, before I said anything more. Yes, I can. But some preparations are necessary. I think I'll be ready by nightfall. You really just do that without asking for reasons? So this really is an unethical black market. What the fuck? Rook is a douchebag. Oh well. What a surprise! The leader of the black market is a douchebag. Who would have thought? In recent news, Al Capone was a bad man. Of course. I will wait. Alright, then feel free to do whatever you like until then. If there's anything you need, just holler. I will be around. Yes, sir. I left Ma where he was and headed into the kitchen. La looked a little concerned. Total erasure? Impossible, right? Who knows? I've never tried it before, but I think it can be done. Probably. Probably. Nice of you. We memory sites do have some interesting capabilities, you know. What? Are you afraid? La looked down at the floor for a moment. When she snapped her head up again, there was something akin to anger in her eyes. No way! She turned her heel and stormed out of the kitchen. Now that is what I was hoping for. A wise kid helping the stupid asshole realize that it's not okay to just erase somebody's memory just because you're paid for. Very well done, La. You're a good kid. My. So I had made her mad, huh? For a long time after that, the three of us quietly waited for the passage of time. I sat on a stool in the kitchen and watched La and Ma. La was reading a book. Ma was sitting a little apart from La and patiently waiting for nightfall. But this odd arrangement didn't go for long. Soon enough, Ma turned to La and hesitantly broke the silence. If I may inquire, what book are you reading there? Psyche's Gatekeeper, by Annalie. Annalie, okay. Pardon me? I couldn't help but suppress a smile at this. For such a haughty individual, Ma certainly had no idea what he was, or wasn't, talking about. Then again, it was surprising that La would even know of, let alone read, this particular book. Psyche's Gatekeeper, a book written by Annalie. Oh, right. Of course. Pray tell, what kind of book is... Oh, dear me. 1,000 apologies. I had no intention of being a bother to you. La just smiled at this. No problem. Happy you asked. Shall I go on? And Ma blushed furiously in response. Not that I could really blame him. La was really cute when she smiled. Of course. Please, by all means. What an irony, I thought. A markedly blunt effect is reported in virtually every case of the dolor, and yet my two guests here don't seem to have that problem. At all. So are they really not affected by the dolor? Or is it just that... I wonder if the... So there are two possibilities, in my opinion, how all of this plays out in the end. It's either that La doesn't have the dolor, or the other option is that they treated the dolor wrong all along. And that is the message that this game gives us for society and depression. That depressed people are treated wrongly. You know what I mean? So it's either the first or the second option. As of now, I think at least. But we'll see. That is just me speculating again. A treatise on memorycide. The protocol of the systematic erasure of memories. The writer is a memorycide himself. This Analyi person? Really? Really. Dr. Alnier, class Omega memorycide. Or so it seems. Class Omega? Wait, I thought they were an urban legend. A fairy tale, you know, They are quite real. Real and incredibly rare. 1 in 1,000. Or less. Actually, the proportion was even lower than that. There were perhaps 10 known class Omegas in the entire world at present. From class Epsilon up to class Alpha, there was a smooth, linear progression of ability. But class Omegas, they were different kind of beast altogether. To put it in another way, without them, a true cure for the dolor would be impossible. Even an alpha like me could not permanently erase the memories of my guests. I could only make them go away for a time. Sometimes that was a long time, but never forever. I just held those memories at gunpoint for as long as I was able. But a class Omega could and would pull the trigger. That is how that works. That's stupid. At one point they come back. Oh well. All guests left this town with holes in their heads. Whether this was accomplished to the tender mercy of self-slaughter or the cruel anointing of a class Omega's touch, was it not all the same? Wow, well, that turned dark, son. Even though the topic is obviously the depression or something like depression, this hasn't been that dark yet. But our friend here, Black Iris, suddenly pulled like the darkest card out of his ass crack out of nowhere. Happy memories, sad memories, all guarded by Psyche's gatekeeper. A steadfast warden won't let you in. Even if you want to forget. Especially if you want to forget. Memorycides are thieves. They trick Psyche's gatekeeper. Emulation. That's what they call it. And once the gate is open... no, that is him again. I guess? Yeah, this is him again. And once the gate is open, a memorycide could walk right in and take whatever he wanted. Come to think of it, that did sound an awful lot like a thief, didn't it? Yeah, it sounds actually crazy. I didn't imagine it being like that. Fortunately, I didn't have to think much about such philosophical implications. I was just here to do my job. Child memorycides have no power. They grow stronger with age, more complex. Stronger gates demand greater power. Why? Simple. Takes a crazy son of a gun to emulate the complexities of a well-fortified gate. And in English, that means the more powerful the memorycide, the more bizarre he tends to be. So, Black Iris is super powerful, I guess. An alpha like Black Iris here will almost always be a royal pain in the neck. Or so it is written. As annoying as it was all true. Even I knew what a hopeless eccentric I was. Oh, I think I understand now. Thank you for enlightening me. I salute your intelligence, Miss La. Flattering, but no. Had to reread it. A lot. Still don't get most of it. Actually, her summary was more or less correct, and in fact, she had been able to explain it all in her own words. She knew what she was talking about, obviously. She had read into it quite deeply. Now, first of all, this is not that complicated. Second of all, she is at least, by now, I think she's at least like 15, 16. I mean, he said she's a lot older than the boy, and he thought the boy is 11. So she must at least be 15, 16, 17. So, is it that impressive to retell something like that in your own words? It's not that complicated, to be honest. Even I get it. And I never get something complicated in English. Ma was more correct than he knew. La was damn intelligent, alright. Truly, Miss La, I am envious. You see, Just curious. You don't have to answer this. What do you plan on doing after your memories are erased? Well, Want to wipe yourself away? Start clean? Is that it? That may well be. Ma muttered as he nodded weakly. But instead of pressing him, La simply waited quietly for his next words. She didn't have to wait for long. I am not strong, nor am I intelligent. I cannot even converse smoothly with other people. I am a failure, without any recourse. Even were my mother and father to have any expectations of me, I would never in a million years be able to meet them. It would be better if I were dead. It would be better if I had never been born. Your parents say that? No, not at all. They would never say anything like that. They have always said that they love me, just the way I am. That makes me very happy, but still, it pains me that they are forced to nurture me in that manner. I cannot forgive myself for my own lack of ability. Inviolable. Huh? That you have such loving parents. They truly are. And I truly appreciate all they've done for me. You want to throw that away? Are you really so sure? La met Mar's bewilderment head-on with a vague, clouded smile, and then she said no more. Yeah, okay, this is a lot of... I'm not too fond of that, to be honest. This is like, we call that, in German, we call that West Pocket philosophy. Like, because it's like a little book you have in your vest pocket. I think it comes from that. Like, this is so, like... your parents love you anyway. You know that your parents love you. Therefore, you cannot erase your memories. Ooh, he would never have come himself to this conclusion. He's fucking 15. Come on, give me a break. Like, give me a break. A bit more complex, if I may ask for. A bit more complex. He's 15. I remember, now, I was definitely not the most intelligent child in the world when I was 15. But even I, as I was 15, was way more complex than that douchebag there. Well, maybe he's just very simple-minded. He mentioned himself that he could never meet the expectations of his parents. But still, this is too easy, you know? This is too easy. Even for a simple-minded person. It's too easy. But I like the way it's going now. It's actually now meeting my expectations. La being the wise child. That probably will help our protagonist, Black Iris, to grow as a person. So that's cool. I just didn't like what she was talking about. That wasn't too fond of that. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's cheap. You know? From a writing standpoint, it's cheap. Yeah, so... good point to stop the episode, I guess. We have the very serious stuff now over. And next episode we'll see how this whole story with our little boy here goes on. Probably he goes home with his memories. But, you know, maybe he stays. We'll see. So, thank you everybody for watching. Come back for the next episode. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.